Ben, what if I drop a bucket of cold water on top of you?
We need more information, Prague. Is Mercury on retrograde or not?
Well, I haven't seen any salamanders in the marshes of Madrani lately, so.
On my part, I have seen quite the amount of butterflies in the Guaxinduva Mountains yesterday. Add it up with your lack of sight of salamanders and if it might be on retrograde.
Huh. The GDP per capita of Kyrgyzstan went up like 2.8% last quarter. What the fuck are you talking about?
Isn't that Kazakhstan?
Listen. Have you ever had peach marmalade?
The economic prosperity on the Tianjin region is one of the many effects on human societies caused by Mercury being on retrograde.
Now that I think of it, no.
They literally named a street after Texas in Texas.
Alonged the demographic downturn of the Rift Valley by 0.15% yesterday.
Well, then you've probably not seen many salamanders, have you?
No, not really.
But have they named a street after a street in Stratington, Rutland?
They say that if you don't eat peach marmalade you will either see more salamanders than before, less salamanders than before, or the same amount of salamanders as before. It really depends on the amount of salamanders you see after you have peach marmalade. Okay, aim.
The name of streets is a very bureaucratic process involving many no economic benefits in the long run, and in the long run we are all dead.
Oh no, AIM joined.
Have you ever tried to create fire using wet birch? It's probably the worst thing you could use. Which is why I've never subscribed to the New York Times newsletter.
No, but I have tried to create fire using birch bark from Velik Novgorod.
Wait, AIM is both way too good at this and way too fine with this.
And I say me subscribed to the BBC myself.
AIM is not in control of his account right now.
How is this related to what I said?
But now imagine this situation.
You know what they say, aim. 3 dots don't make a bicycle.
We're green ice cream from Jundiaí. Have you tried that before?
It's the only conclusion that can be reached after all the evidence concerning the Shoshone diamond industry.
Because dots can't exist in the physical world, and bicycles can. So you can't make a bicycle using dots. Especially not just 3 dots.
He is ignoring your comments. Timurid.
Okay, I can't compete with this.
Which is why you should avoid shampoo that smells like poppies. Because it might be toxic.
MF straight up change dimensions mid discussion.
Okay, but consider the lilies.
But the chance of it being toxic is probably the same as with any other shampoo. It really depends on if the people of Hungary ever vote out Fidesz out of the PEX Municipal Council.
Do they have to pay taxes on their internet?
No.
No, as there generally is not internet access within a wilderness.
Have you seen the show Dingle Runner?
Can't say I have.
That's because it doesn't exist.
However, I have seen Dairy Girls.
You know, they say that nobody's ever seen the Dingle Runner show, because they never made it. Nobody even ever thought of making a show called Dingle Runner, which is why you haven't seen it. That's what they say.
How are you so good at this?
You know, folks.
Even they did make it.
If you go to one of them villages,
I wouldn't watch it.
You'll hear plenty of wisdoms. Can't crush a buffalo with a big pile of sneakers, because if the pile is big enough to crush a buffalo you probably wouldn't be able to lift it, unless you operate heavy machinery. You would have to tie the buffalo to a place or put it in a hole though. You would have to figure out how big the pile of sneakers would have to be.
You've clearly never read H.P. Lovecraft's The Shadow over Innsmouth. I sure haven't.
You know, I think it was a good idea to tax additional sugar in Poland. In products, you know what they say. If you eat something that has a lot of sugar in it, it's as if you eat a lot of sugar, and if you eat too much sugar it's gonna fill up your whole body and you won't be able to breathe, because the sugar will block the path for air in your body.
Now, consider pancreatical cancer.
Which is why you probably shouldn't eat an amount of sugar corresponding to the volume of your body, at once.
Now I know what you're thinking.
You know there's not many cases of people being convicted of Chamberlain activities.
Do DM telling you.
Because it's not a crime.
He must be ahead a class on this. Someone taught him, it's not fucking possible.
You won't find Chamberlain activities in any law book no matter how hard you look probably. But I don't know, I've never checked, but that's what they say. You can't get convicted of Chamberlain activities because nobody ever defined what Chamberlain activities entails, and there hasn't been a ruling on whether it should be illegal or restricted in any way.
William the Conqueror would be a good source of information in this topic.
Because it can't be defined.
However, the original price of molasses within the market of democratic Kampuchea cannot be understated.
You know, my grandpa used to tell me, hello, when we met.
I swear.
He does this because that's the way you greet people.
I am trying to at least achieve some semblance of the vibe, and I just can't.
But
You know what they say, Chin?
the economy.
Can't swallow a goose if you don't have a throat.
Ooh.
No, he had a point.
You know, AIM, when they discovered the polar star, it was already there, because humans didn't create stars. That's what they say, at least.
Death Star.
It's probably caused by the difference in age of the human civilization and the stellar world. It's the same way as Columbus didn't discover Sicily. Luckily, this is not a myth that has ever been promulgated by anyone.
Where does the Yanasite rhinoceros horn contribute to this?
This entire carnival just summed up on a single video.
If you were rich and had 7 rhinos, you'd probably end up having 6 if one of them died. But this takes into account the others not dying.
This is actually a trick question, as the Yana rhinoceros horn was found at the site of Yana in Irkutsk Oblast, a location that is not Sicily, now the northern border of Mexico. One may be surprised to find that it is in fact identical in shape and length to the southern border of the United States.
You know, if you stand at the border of the USA and Mexico for 37 days straight without water or food.
This is, of course, not counting the northern border of Mexico which borders the Gulf of Mexico.
You will die. You will probably die before the 37th day. Anyways, watch this.
It is possibly believed that Calvin Coolidge once met with Qin Shi Huangdi, first emperor of the Qin dynasty. However, it is very unlikely due to several factors. The first of which being that this is a fact I have made up, and the second of which is the fact that these two figures most likely could not have met, as one was born approximately 1,200 years before the other.
So was Calvin Coolidge born in the 10th century, or was Qin Shi Huangdi born in the 7th?
It is likely to be the first. However, this may need to be verified.
You know, they say that if you are born in the 10th century, you've probably witnessed the 900s.
We currently have no records of Calvin Coolidge interacting with Alfred the Great.
But you've probably not witnessed Pringles canned potato chips, because those were invented way later.
Who most likely would have interacted with a figure as important as the President of the United States.
You know why they call Alfred the Great that way?
How are you doing still at it? Just to wake up.
Because he was named Alfred when he was born. That's where his nickname Alfred comes from. I'm not sure if his surname is the Great.
Could Calvin Coolidge have met with Qin Shi Huangdi? No.